Three, two, one. Hi, hello, and welcome to episode 30 of this podcast with the misleading title Yet Another Expat, where I mostly share random things. My name is Ermis, and I'm delighted to be making this episode. I would like to apologize for not releasing an episode last week. For those who follow the social media, you might have seen what happened. Very painful. If you don't, here it is. I recorded the entire episode, and when I got into the editing mode, I realized that there was no sound. And this is such a rookie mistake. You go through these screens that even ask you to check your devices when you record. But I just did everything on autopilot, and I thought that they are set correctly, and they were not. Now, it takes a lot of energy to do this podcast sometimes, just to sit down and get everything ready and put yourself in that mental space and blah blah blah. It takes a lot. So the blow of having done all that effort, having put all that energy outwards, and then looking at a blank screen, that was quite hard. So I couldn't make it in time. I had to continue with life and what it brings. But yes, apologize for that. Buckle up. Thanks for sticking, and let's get going. Now, autumn is closing in. The number of beanies I observe on the street is rising dramatically. And this is the first sign. Beanies and scarves and jackets. It looks like autumn is in and kicking hard. In Germany, the ginger shops are appearing. €1 per ginger shot. It's like the pumpkin spice, but in German. When it's there, you know that the winter is actually coming. Ginger is very, very widespread. It's supposed to help you not catch a cold and boost your immune system for the winter. So it shows up in markets and on the street, and that's cool. But you know what else boosts our immune system? Blood donation. What a great segment I created. But yes, actually, blood donation is super cool, not only for others, but also for yourself. If you're selfish and you're like, I don't want to give my blood to other people, it's mine. There's actually a lot of benefit in giving your own blood. It's refreshing for your body. It lowers the risk for cardiovascular diseases, and it makes your body produce some red cells, which is a great thing to do. But why I mention this is I realized in Germany, in order to donate blood, you need to speak German, which I didn't know. I'm a blood donor in Greece. I hate doing it. I hate the needles. I hate being there. But then I feel so good in my consciousness afterwards. And it's also good for my body. I have a high red cell blood count. I can donate every 3 or 4 months, actually. But in Germany, if you want to go and donate blood, you need to speak German. I found this by chance by looking at the closest places to donate. And the first moment I heard, I was like, why do I need to speak German? Why are you making people do this? It's for the common good, it's for the benefit of all. Blood donation works the same everywhere. Why don't we just do it? And yeah, the answer does make some sense. It is because if anything goes wrong, the medical staff needs to be able to converse and make decisions, and maybe I don't know what it could be, that they something horrible happens by accident and you need to be informed and decide if they amputate your hand or not, and you can't because you don't speak German. So yes, if you didn't know, now you know. Let's change the subject and go to Greece, this beautiful place for holidays and short stays. A very hard place to make a living on your own. What is Greece doing? One thing that brought Greece in the spotlight was this incredible decision to establish a 6-day work week earlier in the year. This is one of the very entrepreneurial moves that the government has decided to do to further push the working class down. What if other countries are looking into the 4-day work week? Greece decides to go backwards, making things even more difficult in an environment that is already very, let's say, flexible in favor of the employers. So After the 6-day work week, here they come again with one more innovative move. In Greece, the culture of tipping is so-so. It's not like places like the US where it's completely mandatory. You usually tip, not a lot. It's very welcome. If you don't tip, it's also okay. If you tip, it's very welcome. And it's actually, I always saw it as a way of some solidarity. The roles and the positions that are working in jobs that tipping usually happens, whether it's delivery drivers, whether it's servers and waiters and people working in the tourist machine that we have. These jobs are horrible. They don't have breaks, they don't have good conditions, they many times they don't even get the right amount of social contributions because the employers can do that and get away with it. Like it's a hard place. It's not something you do if you have other options, right? So tipping always feels like a good form of solidarity and a way to contribute, almost like the society tries to correct the unfairness and imbalance of this minimum wage jobs. So this government decides to bring taxes to tips because why not? Why bring taxes to something like the shipping industry or for the energy hyper profits? Why hurt your friends when you can just hurt the many? So, yes, they wrote a law that will be getting taxes out of the tips. What a beautiful move. What a beautiful way to squeeze the part of your workforce that has already suffered the most just to get a tiny bit more drop of money. So, yes, thank you, Chris. A very smart move. So, if you're there and you're tipping, make sure to at least do it with the money and coins and not with your card. But enough with Greece and Germany. I want to bring you a little bit on the amazing world of social media and internet. I've been spending a lot of time on Instagram, so much that I'm embarrassed. The dopamine, the reward centers in my brain, they're definitely a bit messed up this period. And this is because of how often I check my phone. So I need to push the other way. But before I do that, here are a few things. First of all, a lot of reels, if you wastelessly look at reels like me, they started having descriptions of cars. Like random reels would have in the description of a Tesla Cybertruck, that it's this type of truck with these types of tires. And I was like, huh? Why are you doing that? And I saw that on multiple reels. Some of them talk about cars that don't even exist, like it's imaginary models written by ChatGPT. And yes, I don't know if this has happened to you, if you've been that deep into the reels where the reality gets distorted. But apparently, this is happening for two reasons. One is that if you keep reading the description, then the reel keeps playing, and then there are more chances that you're producing more viewing time. You're like, wow, why is it saying this? And you read more, and that is precious time that the reel keeps on playing. And the second one is that basically automakers pay more for advertising. So apparently it's one of the hot industries right now. There's a lot of competition going on, and automakers are willing to pay high bids for advertising time. So I think that these reels are trying to trick the algorithm and make it think that this is car related material. But I've been so much on my phone, I've put the reminders so it tries to stop at some point, and I say, just give me a little bit more. And there is a book that I bought to help me stop this. It's in the bestsellers list of nonfiction books for 23 consecutive weeks, and it has topped the list 4 times. It's called The Anxious Generation: How the Great Rewiring of Childhood is Causing an Epidemic of Mental Illness. Now, that's a very long and specific and horrific title, but basically, the book argues that the combination of the decline in the play based childhoods, children and kids and teenagers, they don't go out to play so much, they don't do so much with with their hands and their lives, socializing and experimenting and getting hurt and getting like dirty and just experiencing life and its ups and downs and rewards and takedowns live. This is all taking place online now. A lot of the self evaluation, of the self accomplishment, of the recognition, of the a lot of the stimuli and the wiring that your brain does on the social side when you are forming in the forming years has been replaced by a digital one. The combo of that, the increased smartphone use, has been far harmful to the children, and they link it with the rise of mental illness. I saw a Greek YouTuber named Sarah Katsanis who had the talk about the dangers of phones, and a lot of the dangers described stem from this book. It's called The Anxious Generation again. And it's a very hot topic, and I think it will be even hotter as we move on. Sweden recently made it a rule: zero screen time for kids before 2. And there are videos that explain how the social media scrolling on reels, how it is basically taps into the same part of your brain, like in casino, like in slots. You know, when you pull the big lever and you wait for what's to come, it is a mode where you are waiting for a reward, because there's always one. The reward can be a reel that you like or some that you send to your friend or whatever it is that will do it for you. And every time you do the move, there are chances that you get what it is that you want. But this is a very deprecating model. I'll tell you more as I go on reading this book. I hopefully will read some of it, and I will try to use my phone less. Yes, how did I make this about me again? This was supposed to be about the internet. Here we are. I will also tell you that I started Pilates because this glorious mind lives in a similarly disturbed body. So I need to get all in line. And yes, I started Pilates because I have back problems, and it's nice and stable and safe, and you do breath work and you do abs and core strength and all of that. I decided to get someone to help me in that. So I'm paying for it, and because I'm paying, hopefully I will not stop. It sounds weird. It's not that I want to be paying money, but it helps build a relationship and have the guilt be induced when I don't do what I need to do. And I just need a little babysitting. Okay, I need a little hand holding, and if that is taking away some of my money, it can. It's good to have someone holding your hand every now and then. It's going great. I can touch my toes, and yeah. One thing I noticed is that I hold a lot of air in me. I mean, in my lungs, in my chest. My chest does not relax. Let me tell you about a journey I had 3 days ago. I had tickets for a concert. They were a gift. This is a band I didn't know, and the week has been very rough and tiring. So I was actually thinking to not go to the concert. The person who would go with me was not here, and I thought, hey, you can just stay in. This is still a gift for you, and an evening in. But I decided no. I pushed myself and I said, okay, I'll go to this concert. I look the Google Maps place, and it is 1 hour and 15 minutes away from where I live, like at the other edge, completely other edge of the town and a bit outside. And I thought, wow, it was close to Tegel Airport. So I embark on this journey a bit late for the concert time as well. And I will spare you some of the details, but it took me 2 hours to get there. It was 1:15 in Google, but I took some time to start, so it was 1:20 something. And then I had to change different. I had to change from the U-Bahn to S-Bahn to the bus, and I missed one bus. I took it from the wrong side of the street. So that took 4 stops for me to realize, and then I had to go to the other side of the street. It was a long journey. I listened to podcasts, I was in my own thoughts. It was just such a big time investment. And then I'm arriving there, but it doesn't really look like much. Like it looks like a residential area at the edge of, it must have been outside Berlin by that time. And I was thinking, "Oh, that's an interesting place to hide a venue." And yes, when I arrived, where it was supposed to be, there was nothing there. And then I looked better at the location in the map, and I realized it had the same name as the venue it was happening, and the photo showing a live stage and everything. But this was the company that owns the venue. They have the same name, and they have decided in their Google Photos to have photos of a venue. But this was their offices that are at the edge of the city. And there I was, almost 2 hours late already from the starting time of the concert, completely exhausted, completely tired. I pushed through for this, just go for a concert experience. And after 2 hours, I'm in the middle of nowhere. And this night ended with me getting a Bolt, an Uber, that needed 40 minutes to take me back. So this is 2 hours and 40 minutes of time just traveling. I told them to take me to the actual venue that was frustratingly close to where I lived. I arrived at the venue and I think I had time for 3 or 4 songs of the band. I had myself a beer. I just chilled there. The garderobe could not take my coat and my jacket because I didn't have coins with me. I only have my cards. So take that, Hermes, for not knowing that in Berlin cash is king. Stay with your fat jacket in a concert with all the things in your pockets. But it still was an experience. I came back home and I treated myself with a big durum. And yeah, that was. I went through so many emotions during that night. And I'm proud to say that now this whole Odyssey has, for some reason, has taken this space in my head that I consider it like a meditative experience, like a long journey where I had a lot of time with myself, a lot of time in my head. I listened to some podcasts. I got out of the house. I saw different people. I saw so many people. I took the U-Bahn from the one very end to the other. So yes, always double check. If I had spent a little bit more time, I would have seen that it had less reviews than what some might expect. But anyway, this was one of my adventures. Does it count as an adventure if there is zero things that happen? It was an adventure of waiting, an introspective experience. One last thing I did like about the concert, it was a German band. I didn't know them. And they had a few older people in the audience. I was an observer because I don't know the lyrics, I don't know the songs. So I was just looking around. There's this classic type of person that goes in a live concert and they're on their own and they're old. You choose to imagine whatever you want. They're old, they're solo, and they're kind of there doing their thing. And I remember I used to, when I was younger, when I was going to punk concerts and rock concerts, looking at these old people still rocking it. There was something a little bit sad about it, like, oh, this person has, I don't know, no one to go with, or maybe, wow, they're still listening to this type of music, or I don't know. I had in me a little bit of a little bit sad. And this time, looking at the people being there, I actually realized that these people are probably some of the most happy. What I mean is, it's such a conscious choice to go to a concert when you are at an older age. Like, life gets tough. Your body is not what it used to be. Just standing hurts, just getting yourself there, the ear damage that you get, staying this amount of hours and moving around, having alcohol as well. You're not going to have a good sleep probably. And it's just a different investment to do it. And I actually realized now how much energy it gives me to look at these solo people, white hair, just still rocking it. So yes, this whatever feeling I had when I was younger now has been replaced with pure respect for bringing yourselves into these events and having a great time and taking it all in. And I'm growing as well. Small things show me that I'm growing day by day. And one of these small things showing me are my hair. My hair is starting to do all sorts of silly things. And I'm not talking about the ones that leave my head. That is a normal thing. But no one tells you. No one tells you that there will be random hair coming out of places the older you get. I don't know if it's my Greek genes or what's happening there, but I have hair in my eyebrows that have declared some sort of a revolution against the state of being. And now it's this will get specific, okay? Get ready, buckle up. This is happening. There is some random hair that is growing like on my ear. On my ear, I have two hairs that I need to keep cutting. They're just at the top of the hair. They serve no purpose, and I really don't think that they will ever stop existing. They just decided that they are there. Nose hair as well. This is something I never had, and I remember more grown-ups or other people having a nose trimmer that looked so disgusting, like something cutting the hair of your nose inside your nose. Like, where is that hair going? But yeah, it always felt like it's something other people do, like an optional thing. And then suddenly, I look myself in the mirror and there it is. There is a black hair that's looking under the hood of my nose into the real world. It's like they figured out the escape and they saw the light at the end of the tunnel and they just went there. They must be so excited to see the world. This was my first thought. Like, wow, you have hundreds of hair behind you, but you are the first one that is able to just sense the real world, touch a little bit of the breeze, touch a little bit of the I don't know, of the rain, whatever it is, like a submarine that brings up the scope back in the old cartoons. This is how it feels like. But yeah, to that one nose hair and to the rest, I have to share a story from ancient Greece. So in ancient Greece, there was a tyrant named Periander, and Periander was ruling over Corinthos. Corinthos is a place between Athens and Sparta, very bulky. And one day, he asked his buddy, another tyrant, because tyrants hang out together, and then they put taxes on the tips of people. He told him, "Hey, how do I keep my power?" And the either tyrant, Thrasybulus, did not say a word. Instead, he said, "Come with me for a walk." They went walking into a field of wheat, and there were wheat, and then the Thrasybulus starts cutting every week wheat that was exceeding. So the tallest ones would get cut. Everyone would be cut down to the same size, just slash, 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 slash. So, yeah, the message was very, very clear. Cut down anyone who stands out, right? This is the tyranny. Anyone who's too ambitious, too talented, too tall, you just trim down everyone to keep control. Because if you let the tall stalks grow, then they'll start coming after you. Now, I realized today, being in my bathroom and looking at this one rogue nose hair just poking out, like, who do you think you are, huh? You've experienced the world, you've had your time, but do you think you're some kind of like Leonidas? Are you trying to lead your brave 300 out of my freaking nostril? And it hits me. I'm Periander. This is what needs to happen to keep the nose hair republic under control. I trim it. Everyone who sticks out gets cut. That's it. Cut down the tallest, snip, 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 no mercy. But this is a new thing I need to be doing. I need to be grooming my random freaking hair, the two in my eyebrows and the two on my left ear. And it's just, I need to keep track of all the places where random hair decides to grow. But as I've told you, it's also one of the way that I rate the different barbers, that I always go to different ones. If they pick it up and they're like, "Hey, dude, should I do your eyebrows a bit?" I'm like, "Yes, do my eyebrows." And when they do the areas close to the ear, I'm squinching my eyes. I'm like, "Will they see it? Will they see these two hairs that are just going wild on the top of my ear?" And yes, the ones that do get my bonus points. And I'm sorry you had to hear all that, but now you do. If you made it this far, thank you. If you like this podcast, consider following on Spotify if you haven't, enabling the little bell so you always know when one is coming. Share it to a friend. Here's a cool thing. I heard it at a podcast. It's called Yet Another Expat. It has nothing to do with expats. Leave a comment if you liked something, message me on Instagram, and have a great, great, great rest of the week. Here's a double episode for missing one. Have a good one and cheers. I will share a last thing about my random growth journeys. A weird realization that hit me. Now, the disclaimer is I'm not much of a cook. I cook 5, 6 dishes and that's it. Every now and then, after public demands, I add another dish in my repertoire and then it's closed again. So 5 dishes or 6 dishes, this is where it goes. And yeah, my relationship with the kitchen has become much, much better in the past decade. But here's a point of adulthood that I never thought exists. I was in the kitchen and I was cutting some things, and then we have a magnet strip that holds all of the knives, and I looked around and I just realized that I need a specific knife that I don't have. And this, me wanting a knife, me wanting a specific new knife. Who is this person? We have knives already. The old Hermes would just take any knife that exists and do what needs to be done. There are already knives there. And yeah, somehow I was like, no, these knives are not it. They're not good for what I want. I need this type of knife, and this will make my life better. So, yes, this was a need I never thought I could have. And this creation of the desire for a knife was also, it was welcome. I'm like, okay, a desire to get something that is going to help me and I can just go and get it. That's not a bad thing. I can want this knife. I allow myself to want this knife. And you know what? I will get me this knife so I can do the knifing things that need to be done. But yes, this is a new Hermes, the Hermes that wants knives. I don't know where he comes from, but he has needs and he has desires, and I'm helping him. Um, but yeah, that entering the space of needs around knives was a weird sign of growth that just hit me. It just came to me. My brain just told me, hey, how about we get this? We need it. And I will end up this with one last story. Or you know what? I'll do 2 stories. I'll do the whole thing. This is the double podcast for you. So, story number 1, archive.org is under attack. So, archive.org is a website that is keeping entire archive of the internet. If you don't know, maybe you know it as the Wayback Machine, but it's a website where you can go and put any website like facebook.com and see how it was from the moment it was created until today. Archive.org is a collection of the internet for the last, I don't know, since its inception, I guess. So it's a great place where you can actually go and find old resources that have been removed. It's a way to go back to, I don't know, if a news site deleted some of their content because they got pressure, or you want to find something that existed and maybe doesn't exist anymore, archive.org is the place to go. And this is such an important work to do because we don't keep, scripta manent, they said in Latin, which means that the written things stay. So archiving is you need to go and set fire to a warehouse to burn something. But on the internet, a lot of things can come and go. A lot of things can disappear. And having an archive is not only helpful for information, it's also a snapshot of the past. You can go and see how websites were. You can even go and find your own, I don't know, if you had a blog back in the day and it doesn't exist anymore, it's still there. You can go in archive.org and find it. Yes, so this is, I think it's an NGO that has it, or it's some sort of voluntary contribution setup, or it's not a profit company. And some hackers are attacking it. It's down now, it's inaccessible, and it's not very clear if they are just keeping the website from coming live or if they are able to inject malicious code and do actual harm. And this is the sad side of the world. Why would a hacker choose to attack such a neutral power of the internet? Like no position, no voice, just a quiet collection of the information the internet produces. It's only such a noble cause. But this is something that is happening, and hopefully we get it back and we also get it a bit more secure. But it does look like a breach. I think that they are accessing parts of the website. It's a very, very low to target this website for anyone, unless some copyright owner that was mad at the archive hired people to do it. The archive has also been in court with people demanding things to be deleted and forgotten and removed. But this is a bigger concept: the right to be forgotten and who has it and who doesn't. If you rob someone, it always stays in your record, right? So where is that line on the internet for the things that go out? But I hope archive.org makes it, and I hope it too. And now we've entered my last story. This is the last story. If you're still here, thank you. This must have been a long one, but yes, here we are in my last story. I did a bad thing. So you probably know Hurricane Milton. It dominated the news last week. This hurricane in the Gulf of Mexico that went all the way through Florida. It was everywhere in the news that it's coming, that people need to prepare. They were asking people to leave. And I was so surprised by how much they tried to get people to leave. Like they were begging people to leave their houses. They were telling them that this is for real. This is how high the water will be. If you stay home, it means that you will die and get drowned. And it was such a. They had to evacuate a very big area. I get it. I think they evacuated almost 2 or 3 million people got displaced from this hurricane. But I guess they're also battling a lot of deniers, a lot of people that don't believe these dangers are real. There is a big QAnon side of Trump supporters type of audience that believe that these things are man-made, that there is weather controlling, that the government is doing in order to punish them. There are these people that want to be shooting bullets towards tornadoes to spin them down the opposite way. And there's just a lot of, I think I know better what's happening here in the US. It's difficult to get one voice of reason that people will say, here's the national service that is responsible for situations exactly like this. Maybe they know what's happening a bit more than us. But no, they tried, really, really begged people to leave. There was even the story about some people who decided not to leave. There was a dude sleeping in his boat, and he said, I'll just sleep in my boat. It's water. If it comes, I'll just make it. But yeah, basically, we have very strong hurricanes, stronger than before, almost a new category, and they keep forming more and more. Why? The shortest answer to why is that the warmer water makes worse hurricanes. This is the easiest connection, but the Gulf of Mexico has had some of the warmest temperatures ever, and warm water stores, I don't know what, but it can cause big hurricanes. I followed the whole Hurricane Milton situation quite a lot. I don't know why, but I was drawn in. I wanted to know when it's hitting. They had a countdown on when it's coming and how fast it's going to be when it comes and how strong. And I wanted to be first row. I first went from I had some Instagram updates and some news online that it's happening, but I wanted to be closer to action. So I started following some of these news sites that update a live event every now and then. And I was getting these updates as the hurricane was coming closer and closer. And then I thought, no, I want more. And then I realized I can put on like TV channels. This is what TV used to be for. Like this is I want to subscribe to real time information about an event that is happening. These used to be what TV did. I started watching TV channels in the US, and all of them were, of course, covering the hurricane coming and the evacuations and how strong it's going to be and all of that. One thing that blew my mind watching the US channels is how much technology they were able to put in this screening stuff. So they had live data updating on the go on exactly where the hurricane is going to be, passing by which neighborhoods, in what moment, in how many minutes. Then they had it was a green screen, so the presenter could have everything behind them. And then they could even draw arrows and put the speed of the hurricane and see the affected area. Like there was a lot of smartness happening in the live. They were showing a live model of the hurricane on the map, and they could zoom in, they could change the model, they could change the variables. They were getting live data from some agency, state agency, and they were updating their models. So a very high tech coverage was very interesting to see. But yeah, I don't know how did the next transition happen. I think that maybe I stayed way too long in some bad channel like Fox, and I unlocked the next stage, because what happened is that YouTube said, "Okay, you've been enough time in Fox channel. You've unlocked these live YouTube recommendations." This is where I'm going with this. This is why I said I did a bad thing. It showed me live YouTube tornado catchers. Like, seriously, there are people who are chasing these hurricanes or are chasing these tornadoes where when everyone says, get the fuck out of there, evacuate now, everyone needs to bloody go. There are some people going around on vehicles streaming their efforts to capture the hurricane. And I was so I could not believe it. First of all, I hit gold spot. I had a first person view inside a car from people going to the tornado. It felt absolutely wrong to be embracing that. And these people had social media as hurricane catchers and Linktree pages with their links, and they were very serious about this. Now, the most crazy thing is that it wasn't just one person with a camera. There was, imagine this, you're watching a video on YouTube that has a host. So the host is in a studio. The host is calm, has a map on the next to them, and also you see the two teams they have sent on the ground, and you can see what they see. So this was a very sophisticated broadcast. It had a general commentator that could show us the two feeds of the live teams that are down where the hurricane is, and at the same time show us some general info. So a very curated, televised experience. And the teams had names. There was one team, it was called Team Dominators. They were the Dominators, and they had a windshield cam, and they were driving towards the hurricane. They had all sorts of iPads showing the projections and the forecast and how everything moves. And they were just three dudes in a car going at it. And yes, I said I'll stay. Not for I did feel bad, but I thought that I need to report on this to you. This is why I did it. And the person broadcasting this thing had 1.15 million subscribers. These numbers are insane. These people were making a career out of having these different tornado teams chasing the tornadoes, and someone back at the central place just coordinating them and broadcasting the entire thing. And I thought these people will die. Like, these are the people that these are the brave or Darwin, people. It's not that they are scientists, because there are scientists who try and fly planes really close to hurricanes and all sorts of. There is risk that you take, but that risk is to collect data. When you're collecting scientific data from a hurricane, you might try to approach it. These people are collecting subscribers. These people are collecting likes and donations. I was literally watching these YouTube live of them driving around in chaos. The windshield was going like crazy. There was rain everywhere. And then in the YouTube chat, the administrator was like, "Don't forget to like and subscribe." And I was like, "Oh my god, this is pure paranoia." And then at some point, they even turned the camera around so you could see their faces. They looked like the least qualified people to send in in a hurricane. The one on it was three of them. So two looked very, one is driving and is looking around, and the other one next to him has a tablet and an iPad and is sharing information. The poor dude in the back, he looked like some child that they carry around, completely vulnerable. And yeah, I was having some hate for how stupidly they are risking themselves, even if they think they know what they're doing. And I guess the central host um, caught that, or I don't know what the comments were saying on YouTube, but he actually said, "Hey, for all you saying mm, bad things, these people are so experienced. These people are very experienced. They know what they're doing." So he was trying to change, not have people say bad things about them. The same time, he was saying how experienced these people are. If you look at their feed, one of them was shouting excited, 30 tornado warnings! We have 30 tornado warnings! And the driver was looking on his phone and left and right instead of looking on the street. Like, imagine driving in these crazy conditions. And the rest of them were trying to see a hurricane from the side, and he was also just looking on the side. They literally said, "I've never seen a hurricane like this." And I was thinking, oh my god, how experienced are these people again? At some point, they stopped in the street and they were asking people, "Where do you think we should go? Left, right, south, or north?" Oh my god, this. I'm collecting some bad karma. Just staying in this stream, being one view for these people, I am contributing. But there were thousands and thousands of people just watching these. The person who was showing the phone to the driver, he said at some point, "Oh my god, my phone keeps locking all the time. It's so difficult to keep showing you what you need to see." And I thought, someone who doesn't know how to keep their screen open for more than 15 seconds, who cannot remove the lock from their phone, is that who you want to have at a crisis where every second counts? Like, if they get hit by something and they need to know, see the alert or see something, you're just waiting on that person to be able to unlock their phone. But yes, yes. These were, at some point they even say, "We can't use too much gas. We have limited gas." How stupid can you be? Yes, you have limited gas because you've been driving for hours trying to catch the hurricane that everyone is trying to avoid. Can you please just go home and find a different hobby that doesn't put your life at risk? But yes, this was my dark deed. I had my existential side. I said, why am I part of this? Why am I? Am I part of what's wrong? Maybe I'm also part of what's wrong, but I did it for reporting, and it helped my I had this appetite to get close to action. It started with all the news I was getting, and then it went on with the constant updates, and then on with the live TV channels. And the final stop on this was this crazy tornado chasers taking me on their car with the first view down when it's happening.